Hi guys, it's Meghan from Point and Polish, and I'm back today to show you another awesome thrift flip. Found this jewelry box in my local thrift store, and I knew it had great bones. The inside is a little dusty, and the outside looks a little orange, but it's nothing a little makeover can't fix. It was only $3.50, and then it was 50% off of that, so it was a great deal. Today's video is a collaboration with some other awesome creatives. Go check out their channels in the playlist and see what items they thrifted and flipped. This jewelry box was in really good condition and didn't need a whole lot of prep work, but I did fill in the crevices where the wood meets together. You don't really notice that when it's stained, but you will notice it once it's painted. So I filled those in with my Dixie Belle Dixie Med, which I just apply with my fingers, and then I sand it once it's dry. Then I use some blue painter's tape to tape off the velvet that's on the inside so the paint won't get on it once I start. Next, I coated all the wood with Dixie Belle's Boss. This is a primer, and if you use it, I recommend that you stir it up really well before you start, just to make sure it's mixed well together. I put on 2 coats of it, and then I let it dry overnight, and this helps the paint to adhere really well, and it also stops any bleed through that might happen from the wood tannins. Next, I grabbed my paint color. I chose In the Navy by Dixie Belle. This is a chalk mineral paint. I also used a couple artist brushes, and I had my water sprayer nearby. This particular brand of paint has really good coverage. I recommend having your water spritzer nearby just because it helps to activate the paint and keep it moving, and it helps to eliminate any brush strokes as you go. I always sand my pieces in between coats. I use a real fine grit sandpaper, and this helps with chalk paint to just take away that chalky feel and give it a more smooth finish. I then put on my second coat of paint, and I use my water bottle quite a lot throughout the second coat just to make sure that I get that nice brush stroke free finish. Once it was dry, I gave it one last light sand before I went on to the next step. The original piece had this piece of glass underneath the top and has a little bit of flower etching on the top of it. So I wanted to give it a little pop instead of having it just be see-through. So I grabbed some burlap scrapbook paper and I measured it to be the same size as the glass. Then I grabbed some scrap furniture transfers that I had, and I cut them out and peeled off the backing. I carefully placed it onto the burlap, and then I went ahead and burnished it onto the burlap. The tool that I use is specifically made for furniture transfers. These ones are by Redesign with Prima, and I was actually surprised at how quickly and easily the transfer came off onto the burlap. I also put a couple of flowers on top of the glass to give it a more layered effect. I think the final product ended up looking kind of like pressed flowers underneath the glass, and it's a really pretty look. I also put some flowers on the bottom of the box, just for a little pop of fun if you flip it over, and I put another little one on the front of the box as well. Then I went through and did some distressing on the box. I distressed the edges and the corners, things that would naturally get distressed with use. I also distressed the transfer that was on the bottom and the front just to give it that nice worn look overall. Lastly, I top coated my piece. I chose to use 2 coats of Dixie Belle's clear coat in flat. And I chose flat because I like the nice matte look that it gives, especially on a distressed piece like this. And we can't forget about that dusty velvet on the inside of the jewelry box. I take blue painter's tape and I push it down real well into all the little crevices, peel it up, and it takes that dust right off, just like a lint roller. Look how much better it's looking. I even kept going after this and got even more of the lint off. Such a difference. I just love how this little jewelry box turned out. As you can see, I added some scrapbook paper and a little bit of the transfer on the inside cover of the box as well. This gives a little something special when you open it up. If you want to see more of my painting tips and thrift flips, stay tuned and subscribe, and also check out my Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.